What a beautiful day for the Lord to come again. God bless you this morning. Thank you for joining me one more time on this channel, Walking in God's Plumland Ministries. I am so happy that I can share a word with you this morning, and I'm going to continue sharing that word of the Christian love. I gave you a small portion the other day, and I'm going to give you a little bit more. Now, the Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 13 that there are 15 characters of love. I'm going to name them to you, but I won't go through all of them in this series, okay? So we have love suffereth long, it's kind, it envieth not, it vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, does not behave unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoice not in iniquity, rejoice in the truth, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endure all things. And so we're going to define each of them. Now, the King James Version is different from the NIV and the NLT. And however you think you understand it more, you can read that portion. But I'm going to give you from the King James Version, because I know that some of the Bibles interpreted and they don't really give you the full detail. But today I'm going to share with you, and I trust that you will understand as I explain. Now, the first one is love suffers long. Love suffereth long. What does that mean? It means to endure hardship with a good attitude, not giving up when disappointment comes your way, and holding to faith in God. So a lot of us go through suffering, but how do we handle it when it comes along? Predicts how much love we have. It shows you how much love you have within you. So it's not just hugging someone and saying I love you, but it's also how you react when situations come your way. So if you have a situation going through, which we all do, how do you behave when that situation comes? But according to the word, the Bible is saying that it suffers long. So you go through over and over and over without giving up, without backsliding, without throwing in the towel and say you've had enough. Love suffers long. So that's what the first character of love is. Now, the second one is love is kind. A lot of us define kindness in different ways. Kindness to some people is just giving and giving and giving. But a kindness in the character of love really is talking about being able to share and care, looking beyond your own needs. That's not easy to do, you know, if you don't really have love. Because if you don't have anything, why would you want to give out of your nothingness? For example, going to church and tithing and giving your offering, is you have to have love and kindness within you to do that, because a lot of people don't want to share if they don't have anything. So when you have kindness, you are looking beyond your lack, and you're giving into someone else. You're sharing with someone else, and also kind words, right? It envieth not. What does envy mean? Envy means having a jealous or a needy spirit or an attitude toward people or things that does not belong to you. So striving after something that doesn't belong to you is envying. It having like a desire, a strong desire to want what you see someone else have. And I've heard a pastor once say that it's good to have godly envy. I'm not sure how that goes, because yes, you can have a desire to, let's say someone has a beautiful voice or preaches well, and you have a desire that you could be like that person, but how far would that envy go? Because a lot of people will do anything to be like someone else, you know, and then when they have an envious spirit, then they start having a negative spirit towards that person. So the Bible is saying that when you have love, then you put aside envy, because envy is going jealously after what someone else possesses, desiring to be in that place. So you have to be careful with that envy. And it vaunteth not itself. So vaunting means to be boastful, to be like a show off, to be, you know, bragging about things. When you have love, you are more of a humble person. You don't show off, you don't brag about things. You don't go out of God to show what you have or what you don't have. You humble your spirit, right? It is not puffed up, and I'll stop on that one. Love is not puffed up, does not behave in an for example, someone do you something and you carry that feeling for a long time. You carry the feeling of anger, you carry the feeling of hate, you carry the feeling of disappointment. We will all experience some form of disappointment and anger in this life, because people will always get in our way. But we have to learn with love how to release this anger, because if you're constantly puffed up, then you don't have love. If you constantly remind a person of what they did, or remind someone of what that person did to you, then you're puffed up with that unforgiveness, right? And puff up also can also be that we don't take telling, like we don't take what people tell us. We want to do our own thing. So when we search our lives and when we examine these 5 definitions of love that I just went through, then we will see where in our lives we lack love. I always say to people that love is a doing word. It's not just I love you and that's it. You have to examine the word of God and see where you are lacking and work on that area of your life. Because if you want to walk in love, you have to fulfill all of these areas that you are lacking. Suffering long, vaunting not yourself, not easily puffed up. And it is a good thing. I always hear a deacon of mine saying that when your conscience trouble you, you know that you're in good standing with God. You know that God lives within you when you find that you do something and it offends your spirit man. So as I close this section, and I will continue a little later on love, I trust that you'll examine yourself throughout this year. Throughout this new year, you will examine yourself and see where you're lacking in love and fix that part. God bless you. Have a wonderful, beautiful rest of the year.